Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I want to hit you guys up today what's going on in the world that's making its round on social media. So it's about the EBT situation and because of the shutdown and how it's going to start affecting a lot of people. Um, I wonder if this was the Democrats' plan all along was to cause that because I believe during like a civil war kind of thing, I think that would be one of the things on the bingo card that if you take away people's food that it would cause them to create an uprising and at that point maybe an actual civil war. But let me know your thoughts in the comment below if that's what you think the Dems were trying to plan or it was just an accidental thing that that they created. And do you think that is the line in the sand that would push for that civil war? But let's go ahead and get into some of these videos that I found on X that I thought were hilarious.
Trump cutting off food stamps right before Thanksgiving, bad and all, but my people ran out of stores with the cart full. I bet it's gonna be some turkey on my plate, ham, mashed potatoes, greens, dressing. It's gonna all be there. Don't worry about it.
Cheese. Okay.
Me and my man will be at the grocery store walking out.
Let's rewind this one.
All I know is if they stop my food stamps, me and my man will
I'm just saying, giving Carrot Top vibes. Am I right?
be at the grocery store walking out with two big ass carts. And ain't bet nobody better do nothing because my man coming hard behind me and it only take him one time to punch your ass.
Jeez.
I'm going to rack up any damn one. You know what? Since they want to take food stamps away, I'm going to Walmart. I'm going to rack up any damn one, throw that shit right in the basket. I'm coming right about that bitch. Move, get the fuck out of my way. I'm not paying for a damn thing. Y'all got me fucked up. I ain't getting a food stamp on EBT. Oh, watch this. Watch this.
Everything but get a job.
You know what?
Right? All right, let's see this chick.
And I asked them to confirm whether or not what I was hearing was true, knowing it was true, that SNAP benefits are not coming next month. And she said, yeah, no, you're right, they're not coming. I said, okay, well, I hadn't heard anything, confirming what I'm hearing, so I was just calling to check. And she said, you're not going to hear anything. And I said, well, why? And she said, well, your local DSS are trying to figure out what's going on, but the state DSS is not planning on telling anybody what's going on. They're not planning on letting the citizens know that they're not going to get their food stamps next month. She also said that this would likely go on into December, that we will likely not get December's SNAP benefits. So that's great. That's lovely. So I'm coming to TikTok in hopes that there is an answer here. I don't know what the answer could be. I don't know what the solution could be. I don't know if is it mutual aid? Is it mutual aid? Do we all need to come together and start pooling our money and help these families like myself, like my mother, like my grandmother, who don't have the money to replace those benefits, who don't have the income to replace those benefits? What do we do? Because there are children, there are elderly, there are disabled people who do not have the money. And I have 3 children. And I have to feed them. The last time I came on here and talked to you guys about the SNAP benefits, I was full on crashing out. I'm not crashing out this time. I'm scared, but I'm fucking angry. This time I'm angry. And I will not just sit here and mope and cry about it. I will not sit here and just panic and sit in the floor and scream and cry this time. This time we need a plan. We need something that we can do together to figure this out. If you know of any creators, any organizations that are pulling stuff together and are trying to figure out what's going on, help me.
Oh my god, these people are just crashing out. And you know what? They should just be blaming the Democrats for it because the Democrats are the ones that are holding out because of the Schumer shutdown. They're holding out because they want to be able to give 10 million of illegal immigrants medical coverage. So how about y'all take it up with them? That's just plain and simple. Let's see this one.
And steal from the Wally world. Let me tell you something. If you think that you about to come up in here and steal from the Wally World because you ain't getting no food stamps? I'm gonna call the police on you. I'm gonna call. They're on speed dial. I'm gonna call them expeditiously. I don't care. I don't.
That chick was based. I'm just saying, she was based. So yeah, you have all these videos of people just kind of losing their ish because SNAP is being halted for November.
Nearly 2 million.
So let's go ahead and jump into this video. This is from CBS Chicago. Food pantries prepare as government shutdown will cause SNAP benefits to end in November.
Nearly 2 million people in Illinois will be cut off from food stamps come November 1st if the shutdown continues.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says it won't fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, cutting off a major lifeline to feed Chicago area families. Our Marissa Perlman is live in Pilsen with how food banks are calling this an inevitable crisis. Marissa.
And with no end in sight for the government to reopen, food pantries are...
Now, I don't know if y'all remember this. People in Chicago, you know, my Chi-Town peeps, let me know if y'all remember this. But I remember back in 2009 when all the systems for EBT went down and nobody was able to access their benefits and buy food. I personally think that was a test run to see what would happen when they shut it down. But you guys let me know your thoughts in your comment below. Do you think, you know, that the government does these purposefully like false flags where they kind of push this stuff to see what happens, to know whether or not like it would cause a rise up or like civil war? Or do you think that it was just like, oops, you know, the system went down kind of deal?
telling their clients to plan ahead, be ready, and have a plan B.
It's something that we had feared, but now it's a reality.
Without SNAP, food banks will be the first place families turn to, according to Man-Hee Lee with the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
And our food pantries are going to be overwhelmed with SNAP participants who usually, rely on that critical lifeline for support and for basic food assistance.
SNAP provides low-income residents with prepaid cards to buy groceries. The Illinois Department of Human Services says it was notified last week by the USDA that November benefits won't be funded unless the shutdown ends.
And a lot of these we're talking about are children and also older adults who aren't able to work.
That means Illinois could lose about $350 million in assistance for 1.9 million recipients statewide. Lee says food pantries across Cook County are urging families to prepare now.
We're asking them to make sure that they have a backup plan because they are not going to get the food assistance that they...
That's something I actually would agree with this person. I know, back in the day, I want to say, maybe 2008, my dude would always watch, Alex Jones and, Jesse Ventura and stuff like that. And he would literally talk to me about, conspiracy theories, which I absolutely love. And he would always want to prepare, because he would always be like, what if, a zombie apocalypse happens? What if, alien attack happens? What if civil war happens? What if World War III happens? What if an EMP happens? So he was always the type of person that would want to prepare, because, he always had that mindset of, hey, sometimes it rains, you always got to be prepared. Sometimes the power goes out, you never know. There could be a natural disaster. And so he always wanted to prepare. And so he was one to do that. When we moved to Texas, he was also still doing that. And then COVID hit. And my hubby happened to be out of town because he was visiting his mom in Chicago. And when COVID hit, that's when they started having only go outside for the necessities, And it sucked for small areas because when you live in a rural or tiny town, you don't get the supply run that you get when you're in a big city, because in the big city they have to feed millions of people, where towns they have only maybe at the most 100,000 people they have to feed. And so you wouldn't get refills as fast as you would if you lived in a city. And so food was scarce, and I started panicking because I was trying to run to the store to get all the stuff we need and make sure that I was getting necessities, whether it was non-perishable, stuff like that, because I didn't know how long this was going to last. and, I started like to panic, and my hubby was like, did you not forget that we have prepared for this situation? We actually have, stockpiled like stuff that we needed. He's like, whatever you get is just going to go into our pile. So we're fine. And it kind of eased my mind because I was like, oh yeah, you're right. You were doing this. And of course we're prepared, And so, it did ease my mind. The only thing I didn't prepare for, which I started doing, and I don't think he even thought of it either, was toilet paper. Like, that blew my mind that toilet paper was flying off the shelves. I was like, that versus actual food? Are you kidding? But apparently that was the biggest thing that needed to always constantly be replenished. But yeah, so then he started getting into doing like food rations, which was like doing like readymeals.com and stuff like that have foods that last 25 plus years. So I would always recommend people, you should start with something like that. I know they sell them at Sam's, they sell them at Walmart, stuff like that. If you do happen to have EBT, I believe you're able to buy stuff like that too. You can go to Amazon and do that. That's where I learned from some preppers that would do stuff like that. And, at the time I thought that was awesome, so it's always good to just be prepared, and worst case scenario is like, you don't need it and it's just there. That's like the worst thing is like, oh, I spent money and it's just sitting there. But hey, it lasts up to 25 plus years. Best, the good thing is that if a situation does happen, you have that there. Whether it's just, like civil war, whether it's an EMP, whether it's just a regular natural disaster like flooding or tornado, you have that supply there to help you, which is always a good thing. So I agree with this person. I think it's always best to prepare, look up different articles. That's what I did in regards to perishable items. One of the best things that I like to buy, which I tend to get from, farmers markets, from local farms, are honey. Honey lasts forever. It does not go bad. And you can use it for so many different things. It's a sweetener. It's also something that's good antibiotics. So definitely honey is always on top of my list. But I think what she was saying, making a point to say, prepare. Don't just, like, if you have funds, don't go out and just buy junk food. Buy stuff that's going to last, because you don't know how long this is going to go for.
At the Pilsen Food Pantry, Dr. Evelyn Figueroa says they're bracing for bigger crowds in November. For some families, their twice-a-month visit here is the only way they can put food on the table.
We're going to need to buy more. We're not going to try to give people less, because that's not right.
It's a double blow for SNAP recipients. The new federal law expanding work requirements to get benefits is also taking effect 3 months earlier than expected. The same week, SNAP benefits are expected to hit pause.
This is a human issue, and we all need to understand that none of us should be arguing over food. Food is a human right.
IDHS says 45% of SNAP households in Illinois include children. 44% include someone with a disability. Now, food banks say if funding isn't restored, this could have a ripple effect on communities across the county. We're live in Pilsen. Marissa Perlman.
So that was that. And let me know your thoughts in the comment, what you think is going to happen. Do you think that with the rise of people not having accessibility to food, if that would actually kick off the whole Civil War thing, or any type of violence that's gonna kick up? Because usually that's one of the things that can cause it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment below. I don't mind the work requirement thing. I think that that's actually a good thing, and it's not like they're requiring a big old like work requirement. They're like 15 hours. That's like a cakewalk, especially because I used to work for Department of Health and Human Services in Texas, and I would hear a lot of calls when I would get people calling in to renew their benefits or find out why they haven't received their benefits. And I would hear them, because I would put them on mute. And so I would hear them in the background talking about how shady they are, how they purposely are getting pregnant and keep popping out kids until they can't pop out kids no more, so they could continue to get their benefits. I also had heard people saying stuff like, oh, they don't know I live with my baby daddy and that he has a job, and, I'm getting money from, for my SNAP benefits, both cash assistance and, food assistance. And it's like, that's not what it's there for, people. Like, you could go out and get a job, and most of these people would literally say, and these are calls that are recorded too, which is hilarious. They would say they're purposely not going to do it. They don't want to. They're going to live off the government as long as they can. And if they can't, then they're going to go and, do criminal activity, which I would never recommend anybody do criminal activity. There's always ways for you to, get off your feet. And it's all about, taking that first initiative and getting off your butt. Like, I worked, and I had a lot of kids, and, it is what it is. You do what you got to do for your children, but I at least never broke the law to do that. So I don't think that people should use that as an excuse to break the law, that they should go out and rob stores or cause bodily harm to anybody or break into people's homes. Like, I think that that's the stupidest thing that they could do, because all they're going to do is endanger themselves, endanger their children. What happens when they get caught and they go to jail? Where does their kids go? Like, these people are not thinking clearly, and it's not hard to get a job, especially with all the legals being booted out. I mean, it's opening up the job market. Now y'all could get an actual job, just a food for thought, right? But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know where you fall, like on what side of the coin. And let me know if you're seeing impacts in your community in regards to EBT situation. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Have a good one, guys. Bye.